What is good? Osiris here, stuck in the middle, continuing the discussion about the unbelievable Disinformation Governance Board that was just announced yesterday. Steven Crowder weighed in on the situation. He said the government is creating a misinformation governance board. Who else did something like that? Oh, I remember the Yahtzees, let's call them. I'm doing some editorial on this. And there's some data showing some interesting things going on post Elon Musk's Twitter takeover. So he has two different topics there. So we don't know exactly which one Elon did reply to. And he replied with his one word. He usually tweets very short, concise, which is the best people do that. He said discomforting. So something's discomforting. And I don't know which one, but I think both is probably a fair guess. Why would why would Elon be discomforted by this? Why would you have discomfort by this? We have the Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas testifying that it's going to be okay. The Department of Homeland Security is creating this Disinformation Governance Board. It's just to combat misinformation ahead of the 2022 midterms. That's very interesting to see how this will affect the midterms. This board was just created. It happened, a few days after we find out that Elon Musk is basically going to buy Twitter. It still hasn't gone through officially. So they're circling the wagons. There will not be free speech. Do not expect it. I want to make sure expectations are aligned, and for me as well, not just everybody listening, because I was popping bottles and yeah, this is a good thing, and I still feel that way. I'm not going to take away the white pill. But there's not going to be Gab-like free speech on Twitter as long as the gateway to Twitter is the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. They will decide what free speech is. And then they're circling the wagons just in case something fails there. Like, Elon can do anything he wants. The platform wouldn't be as popular, but he could take it off of the stores. He can do it through Starlink, however he wants to host it. Amazon, too, is a part of that. So he could not have free speech in this environment. But he has the power to do whatever Gab did, or maybe even better. So I want to make sure that we don't have expectations that are out of line. But just in case that fails, the government, I think, is stepping in for another helping hand of just letting you know what is approved or not. I fully expect, I'm actually surprised that these videos that I'm doing right now are allowed to even reach anyone at all. They could just completely shadow ban it where no one could see it. I'm not saying that my videos are shadow banned, but I'm surprised that I'm even getting one or two people watching it. And I don't expect that to happen ongoing. Rumble is not completely independent. I upload some of my videos to Gab TV. Why? Because Gab is the only one they're the most independent. And I want to get on Cozy. Young Nick J. Fuentes is on Cozy TV. And I want to get on that. Let me show that screen real quick. Cozy TV is where young Nicholas J. Fuentes is at. And I want to get on there, but I don't know if I align with him closely enough, but I like what he's doing over here. I don't know if it's independent servers or what, but whatever he's doing, he's able to say, and trust me, he's able to say whatever he wants to say. And it's not as bad as you might think. It's nothing that you wouldn't see on Gab. He's not the most radical right guy out there, period. He's just radical when you take into account how soft things have become. That's why. So let's look at who's the head of this. You're going to pick someone. You'd probably think they're impartial, very logical, and the only thing that they would be partial towards would be the facts, the truth. If you were going to pick someone to be the head of a disinformation board, it's what I would expect. So who is the head of the disinformation board? We talked about yesterday, Nina Jankowitz. Oh, okay. Let's see how she's handled some of the most, crazy things that's happened over the last couple of years. One of them is the Hunter Biden laptop. She said that we should view it as a Trump campaign product. Oh, Interesting thought, how you think critically through something, because I think it was, in a way, the timing of the release. They knew about it long before. They wanted it to be the October surprise. So that's true. But, Nina, was the information on the laptop true? That's the number one thing I would expect from someone who, down the road, is being named on the head of a disinformation board. So you didn't really care about the truth of it. You just cared about where it came from. Nina tweeted back in October of 2020, neither Giuliani nor Bannon responded to multiple requests to review the hard drive and other materials for verification, nor did they respond to phone calls and emails on Wednesday seeking interviews. Okay. And then she says, just to be clear, people confident of the veracity of these files would allow this review. Again, and I agree completely with that, but that still doesn't say whether it's true or not. Twitter locked, famously, the New York Post account down. I would like to know what she thinks about that now. In retrospect, I think we all should agree 100% in retrospect that was the wrong thing to do for our society. So let's see what she says there. During the second presidential debate, she posted that Biden cited 50 former national security officials and 5 former CIA heads that believe the laptop is a Russian influence op. Again, we're talking about, is it a Trump op or a Russian op? I want to know if it's true or not. You're not getting to the heart of the matter of the issue. It's almost as if you don't want it to be true, or I'm just speculating here, you know that it is true and you want it to, let's say, fortify the results of 2020. Multiple corporate media outlets authenticated the laptop in March, but people had authenticated it back in October of 2020. Well, let's see how she deals with other matters. Maybe that's just a one-time thing. She now claims that we know that the discredited Steele dossier was completely a lie. She now claims that it was, she did at the time, claimed that, and I don't know if she's corrected this or not, it's still on Twitter. She claimed that it was partly funded by your party, speaking to Lindsey Graham, meaning Republicans funded the dossier first. What? This is the executive director of the Disinformation Governance Board. Just so we're clear, the Steele dossier was a lie. The dossier was never funded by Republicans. It was funded by Mark Elias, a Clinton campaign and DNC lawyer, and others hired Fusion GPS. Whoever funded it is irrelevant to how accurate it is. This is your new czar of disinformation. And she's, I think you could say she's self-proclaimed. If you go on to her website, she will describe herself on there as an internationally recognized expert on disinformation and democratization. Is that from you, or is that a degree from a school? And she wrote a book, How to Lose the Information War. I would give her credit on that one. Based on the title, I think she could tell us how to lose the information war. I'm going to end on what I think is a happy note. It's just a letter. I know. But I will give Senator Ron Johnson credit. He has done some good stuff with the pandemic as well. He wrote a letter to Secretary Mayorkas. He's like, what is this? What's going on? The Biden administration has not proven itself to be a credible arbiter of disinformation. Nobody in the history of the world has been. Instead, it is taking steps to silence information that is unflattering to this administration under the guise of disinformation. For example, unnamed intelligence officials, the media, and social media platforms engaged in a coordinated effort to censor stories about the laptop and his questionable financial dealings under the false label of disinformation. That is a fact. That is not even up for debate. So let's take a look. Yeah, it's a fact. It's not up for debate. Let's take a look at these hard-hitting questions. provide the statute allowing DHS to create the Disinformation Board, appoint board members, and assign or hire staff. Number one, who has the power to do this? Why are you doing this? Number two, and this is what should happen. The Senate, the House should be looking at the executive branch, whether it's the same party or not, like, hold up, we have checks and balances on you. How does the DHS define misinformation? We still don't know that. We can't define women, so I guess that's not a surprise. What does DHS consider to be irregular migration? I have no idea. I read that yesterday. I still don't know what that is. I'll have to look it up, though. I haven't looked it up. I don't know what that term means. What does DHS consider to be misinformation about irregular migration? So we're literally in a Laurel and Hardy skit at this point. Who's on first? What's on second? What DHS component or office is responsible for monitoring and collecting data on misinformation? Yeah. How is that done? How many staff are tasked with this assignment? What are their job descriptions and classifications? What specific actions does DHS intend to take to counter misinformation? He's like, I'm going to end with this. The fact that a federal department with approximately 240,000 employees, bloat much, would set up a Disinformation Governance Board to enforce the government's judgment of what information is allowed in the public square. This is leading up to a midterm election right after Elon Musk purchased Twitter. Should frighten anyone who values liberty and understands how crucial free speech is in maintaining that liberty. Now that you look at it, I think it's crystal clear what really made Elon Musk have discomfort, because it is very discomforting. Take care.